Hi everyone. The piece I've chosen to analyze today is called Ensemble. It was made between 1875 and 1925 in Palestine from silk, cotton, wool, and metal-wrapped thread, as was common in the region. The exact artist is unknown, as are the dimensions, and is not currently on view. Now, when I was scrolling through the timeline, this really caught my eye, because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and you see garments like this in Star Wars all the time, and I was just like, wow, this looks cool. And so initially, I thought this was just one giant piece of clothing, but as you can see as we go through this, it's actually multiple pieces, and that's what I find most fascinating about this. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this appears to be like the sort of main garment here, and what I find so interesting about this whole piece is all of the stitch work, because this was all made by hand from the materials I said before, and it just, look how perfect the lines are. You can see throughout this there's the motif of like the rust-colored cloth with the sort of off-whites and like the little bits of yellow, and it's so intricate. You can't really see the definition very well in this picture. But here's just the back, and now here we have the matching vest. Now you'll get to see the detail a little bit better in the next couple of photos, but you can see the same sort of design motifs carried along here. We have the pocket with some heavier, darker threading here, and then you can see the sort of makeshift buttons with the little nubs of cloth here. Again, all made by hand. And I have the back. Now this, you can see the fine detailing of the texture of the cloth here. You can see the thick braids here for where the buttons would sort of go together to button it up. You can see along here, this reinforces it. And just look at that detailing, look at that fine stitch work. We have the reds here with the yellow and the white, and there's just like a little bit of space in between the stripes here. So as we continue along, we have the sort of overrobe here, and you can see that one, the pattern's a little bit thicker. We have the thicker stripes, but still carrying along the same color, the same design motifs. You can see along the edge here, we have sort of like the thicker threading again with like some extra embroidery. You can see the back of it here, and it continues along the sort of the detailing from the, I don't know what you call it, the lapel, I guess, here continues around the back of the neck. You can see how fine that detailing is as well. Now there are a couple other pieces here. I couldn't see where this sort of fits in with the main display, but this almost looks like it could be a bracelet or perhaps a necklace or something. But again, look at that fine craftsmanship. We have the purposefully built-in patterns here, and we have the sort of connecting nubs here. Also fine, and it still matches. You have the bits of red, the bits of the white, and the black. Well, of course, black goes with everything. Then we have this sort of like metallic sort of material, it almost looks like. Now we have this other cloth, which again, I don't really know much about this culture's fashion, so I don't really know where this would fit in. But again, handmade. You can see the sort of tied off tassels here, purposefully done. We have this pattern here, which is quite expertly replicated. We have the sort of like cascade of the lines. We have the fine line between the sort of almost gold cloth and the, looks to be dark blue charcoaly cloth. Even in that, you can sort of see the definition of some different colored stripes leading into the sort of green edges here. We have this other sort of cloth, like of a similar fashion. Even though in these pictures the cloth isn't laid out super straight, you can still see how like fine and straight these lines have gotten. Again, all from being handmade. We have this alternating pattern of the mustard color and the black, which leads into the same mustard color but with blue and the red and the fine stripes in between them. And we have the decorative end here with sort of replicating this pattern here, but with the extra sort of tassels on the strings. You can notice there's in the mustard, there's in the red. These almost appear to be blue. So now we can go back to the beginning, and you can sort of see where all the individual pieces fit together now. You can see how you have the vest here, we have the sort of main tunic robe sort of thing there, and then the main overrobe, of course, over everything. I love that each of the pieces was purposefully made to match one another, and that they all, like I mentioned before, carry the same design motifs. So that's about going to do it for this. Thank you for listening.